All right, I'm Shane,
Jacob.
and we did our research project on procedural audio, and more specifically how it relates to video game music. So what is procedural audio? Procedural audio is sound that is controlled in real time, not by a player, but by a set of rules that the music follows. And it can also be applied to when scenes change in a video game, and the music changes with the scene to reflect that change. Like if you're playing Mario and you go underwater, the music changes to get like a filter on it. Feels more like you're not hearing high frequencies. And like let's say if there was an enemy that comes into the game and like the music gets more intense, those changes are done procedurally. So the history of procedural audio relating to video games, it was necessary for developers to find a way to store music that took up less space because cartridge space was so small, and like just the programming for the games and the art took up most of that space. So they came up with the idea of like having sound. They'd put the samples in, and then they would put algorithms that would play the music that they wanted. And that was like a breakthrough in technology then for them to be able to put more music in video games. So there's two big popular softwares that are in use for procedural audio. The first one is Fmod, which was developed by Firelight Studios Technologies. Fmod Studio was released in 2012, and it's regarded as easier to learn than the other software, which is WWise. And WWise was developed by Audio Kinetic. The idea was conceived in 2000, and it's regarded as more complex to learn than Fmod. And both of these programs are considered middleware between audio production and the game engine. So audio producers, they would come up with all the music that they want, they'd make all the sound effects, and then they can bring it into Fmod or WWise, which then exports it to any audio engine that you want.
To add to that, you can also use the Fmod or Wise as the place to do the sound design as well. So you don't completely need a DAW, but some people do it just for preference.
So the pros of each, Fmod is easier to learn, and the interface is more like a traditional digital audio workspace. It can be easily integrated into Unreal Engine 4 as a native plugin, whereas WWise cannot be. You have to make your own system for integrating it. There's amazing demo projects that you can get for free and then work on. If anybody knows the game Celeste, you can download the full project files for Celeste in Fmod and see the changes in real time. And indie developers can use it for free on one game per year for commercial use. So that's a big selling point. And WWise, you can load a much wider range of plugins than Fmod. Fmod has like a list of plugins that can't be used in it. And it allows integration into Unity and Unreal. It's actually easier for Unity, but Unreal, as I said, you have to code in to make it work. Then there's unrestricted non-commercial use. So from the start, you get everything that it offers right away. And then the cons, as I said, Fmod, a limited list of approved plugins, and you have less options from the start. If you're not going to be paying for samples, you have to make everything yourself. And then the cons of WWise, there's a steeper learning curve, and it's more like technical than Fmod. Fmod is more like user-friendly, how it's laid out. And there's no free options for indie developers. So you'd have to pay if you're going to use it for commercial uses no matter what. The applications for the senior project, we believe that these programs could be used as the basis for a capstone project at Stetson. where you would make all the sound effects and the music for a video game, and then use Fmod or WYs to integrate those into the game, and you would basically just present the game with your sounds in it. As I said, you'd get a lot of experience in integrating audio into video games, which is the reason why you'd want to do it, is if you were going into that field. And how could Stetson help? First, we could get Fmod and WYs installed, or just choose one or the other, installed on all the computers in the digital arts labs, so that anytime that we come in here, we don't have to worry about the computer that has it, like if there's only a couple being used. So we'd always be able to come in and work on projects. And then money could also be used to get sound samples. Specifically in Fmod, there's sound samples that you can buy. I think it's like 99 cents per sound. High quality that you'd be able to use for projects. That's it for that.
So I'm doing the live demonstration. I'm using Wise to integrate a sound into a video game, a demo video game that they supplied. So Wise itself is actually inside of a launcher, and so everything is within there. So the application, demo games, all of your projects are inside of the launcher.
Move that forward to the black. No, fine.
Yeah, move it.
The black test, so
Yeah.
somewhere else.
All right, so the demo game I'm going to use is called Cube. So you just go into the launcher and then go into Cube, and I hope this isn't too loud. So the sound we're going to integrate is a shotgun sound right now. It should be in there. If this thing is that on?
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, it's there. What?
It's going to the HDMI.
Oh.
Go back to your sound settings. Yeah, see how it's.
Yeah.
Use that one.
Okay. Huh. Wait. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to be integrating that. So go back into the launcher and go to Wise. And I already have it installed, so we're going to launch Wise. And create a new project. I'm going to call it Wise Demo 1. And all the paths and everything are already set. So the platforms here, that is where you can add and select different platforms you're going to export to at the end. So PlayStation 4, Xbox, PC, specifically Windows and Mac. But you want to select the platforms that you're going to use. And then for this one, we don't need any plugins. This where it says Synth 1 down here, those are where the extra plugins can go into, but we don't really need any. So I just create that project. And I actually, I'm going to silence the game, as we saw that there's already audio in there for the shotgun. So I need to go into Wise and then go into Cube and go into its sound banks, specifically for Windows, and completely delete all the sounds. So if I go back and close out Cube, here, and reopen it, it's going to be silent since I deleted all the files. So going back into Wise, this is just a license telling you that you're using the free license and everything. So to start out, you want to go into Layouts and Profiler, and we're going to monitor the PC in the game Cube. And so what this does is whatever happens within the game, Wise will receive that information and it'll let it know like, hey, a sound should be going on right now. So I can press, and as you can see, since I deleted the shotgun sound, there's an error saying failed posting event, fire shotgun player. So that is actually called a game call from the game engine being sent into Wise, telling it, hey, this action just happened in the game. Wise should there should be a sound associated with that action, and since I just deleted the sounds, there's an error. It's saying there's no sound, nothing's happening. So that's the game call. We have to create an event that has the exact same name that will have the sound for it. So we got to go back into layouts in Designer and go into events and default work unit under events. And the work unit is like a category. So say that like a AAA development team is creating like a new God of War, and they have specific teams that do the audio for dialogue, another team that does audio for the weapons, audio for ambience. A work unit helps to like divide those subcategories. So for this one, we're only going to use one, but we're going to go into the default work unit and create a new event, and it has to be the same name as the error message, which is fire shotgun and player. Fire shotgun player. All right, so the event is created. So right now we just go back into audio and go into actor mixer hierarchy. Again, same with the default unit, but we're going to create a sound SFX file. And this is going to be the shotgun blast sound that will be imported right into there. So this part is where it becomes similar to like a DAW on the mixer track. So say that you have the audio in on the mixer track. This is where you can control the volume, where you can add different effects, which you can go in here. You can add a reverb, you can add delay, you can add compressors, all that kind of stuff. So that's where the mirroring comes for DAWs, but obviously there's a lot more that we can do. So the sound we're going to use is in here. Cue. It's within lesson 1 and shotgun blast. So the event that we created, or the sound effects that we created here, you just right click it and import the audio file. And we're going to go to add files. And I just went through it. And then just click on the sound that you're going to use. And it just comes in as a normal audio file, and you import it. And so now it's associated with that. So whenever I hit play down at the transport, it's a sound that we're going to use. So now we have the sound and we have the event. Now we have to connect the two together. So we're going to right click or click down at the bottom here on Fire Shotgun Player Missing. So it's saying missing because it's missing the sound associated with it. So there's two ways that you can add the sound to the event. You can either click add, play, and then drag in the sound that you're going to use right into the target, which now it's associated with the event. Or you can just delete that and drag it in, and it automatically adds a play to it. So now whenever the game engine within Cube calls Fire Shotgun Player the event, it will create that sound. So the final step is creating a sound bank. And so what a sound bank is essentially bridging the gap between Wise and the game engine. And it writes the code and everything so that whenever the game is run, it knows what to do. So back into layouts and sound bank. We want to create a new sound bank. And the sound bank that the game has been told to look for is titled main. So we're going to name it main and have this drop down. It's right here. So since this is the end of everything, this is where all the platforms would be. So you want to check out which platforms or which languages that you want to export it out to, and go into the user settings and override project sound bank paths. This will tell where the sound banks are going to be stored, and put it into your project file, which we named it Wise Demo 1. select that folder, click OK. And then you want to associate the event that we created with the sound bank. So drag it right in there. That should be, hold on. Actually, you actually want to go into sound banks. There we go. Okay, so now we just generate the selected, and now it should be back into the game. So we have to, there's still no sound. You have to close it out and reopen it. Now it's associated. So yeah, there's the issue that I had. I think I kind of wanted to add that to like the cons section. Whenever I go into the monitoring system and monitor what's happening on Profiler, and there's supposed to be sounds associated with moving and jumping. All it says is event ID not found. It doesn't give me the event name. So if I were to do something else, like if I wanted to add a jumping sound or anything, I don't actually know what the event is called. So that's something I guess have to research, but yeah, that's essentially how you do it.
Questions for these guys? Praise. I thought the demo was great, really thorough, and I definitely learned a lot just by watching the demo. Good presentation too.
Thank you.
Could you maybe go back and I think you jumped in and you started talking about events. Could you maybe explain what that is in, I guess, gaming/programming terminology and why that's important to pay attention to your events?
Okay, so it's important because see how the name is Fire Shotgun Player? It tells exactly what is happening within the game. So it tells what the action is and what the sound should be associated with. And so the event actually in the error message that showed whenever we were monitoring the game, they actually have to be one-to-one. It has to be Fire Shotgun Player exactly, except for it's not case sensitive. Whenever Wise exports the project, it puts everything to lowercase anyway, so you can have it, the shotgun, for example, the S was lowercase in the profiler, so it doesn't have to be exactly, but it has to be typed out, spelled, and have the exact same characters, like the underscore exact. So, but the event is telling like what action should be getting a sound, essentially.
Cool. Other questions? At least one more. Come on. One more.
Did you guys use the other software at all when you were trying to do your demo, or did you just go straight to WISE?
I
Straight
just
to Wise,
went
yeah.
straight to Wise. It would have taken a lot of time to try to learn both, and then more time if I wanted to demonstrate both. So I just picked one. It just went with that just to make it easier.
Definitely planning on looking into FMOD too, though, after this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it seems like they're, with the one game per year, friendly to indie developers.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's like indie, but it's anything that has a budget under $500,000, which is a big range of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So could you see yourself using this for a senior project?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Would you use one of the demo games, or would you want to collaborate with somebody who's designing a game to then do their sound for them? Or
I really like Celeste, so I feel like I might try to use that at first, like experiment with it like next year, see how I like it, and then decide then what I'd want to do. But it would definitely be cool changing like all the sounds in that game.
If I knew someone who made video games, then yeah, I would like to collab. But I don't think. Do we have like a video game department here?
we have, I mean, Mr. Chen does at the end of 3D animation teach them how to use, I forget if it's Unity or Unreal. Has anybody taken 3D animation or no?
I have.
Yeah. Is it, you guys cover Unity or Unreal?
Unity.
Unity. So students at the end of that are making basic interactions in Unity. So
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to do a collab.
cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Give them a hand.
Neat.